Brian Terrian from the Disability Digest. If you have ever wondered how other benefits will impact your Social Security disability benefits, you'll find this conversation with advocates here at the Disability Digest helpful, I hope. Um, we discuss short-term disability, long-term disability, different types of veterans benefits, workers' compensation, unemployment, state disability, uh, Medicaid, welfare, how all of those benefits can have a positive or a negative impact on your Social Security disability benefits as you go through the application process and then once you are approved. I hope you find this helpful. If you know somebody else that could benefit from this, please share the video. Make it a great day. And what I want to cover is different disability benefits and how they impact Social Security disability benefits. And like we did in our prior conversation, I want to talk about it, how they have an impact on those that are trying to get their disability benefits approved, and then once they're approved, right? So majority of this will apply to those that are going through the approval process, but there certainly is some impact on the other side. Make sense? Okay. Now, first one is short-term disability and long-term disability benefits. How does this impact somebody who is trying to get their Social Security disability? First of all, can they still apply?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. What benefits, if any, are there to having your short-term disability and your long-term disability?
They have money to go to the doctors.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. So a short-term disability policy, and these are private insurance policies that are through somebody's work. And if somebody is listening to this and you're working full-time and you don't have this, and you may think that you're going to have to stop working, I would suggest that you look into it. You can buy private insurance. And the reason why I say that is for what Daphne had just mentioned, is that you're going through the disability approval process. One of the keys to getting your benefits is staying in treatment, and this will provide you the funds to survive, hopefully, to do that. So a short-term disability policy is just what the term is, short-term. It's typically for 3 to 6 months, depending on how it's written, and it would pay 60% of one's income. So if you're used to getting, $10,000 a month, you're going to get $6,000 a month. And then once that runs out, it'll convert to long-term disability. And question for the group, do you have to apply for your long-term disability, or does it just convert?
You have to apply.
I think you have to apply for it.
Yep, that's my understanding.
It's only a different policy.
Yeah, commonly it's with the same company, but different policy. Yeah, and then long-term, the standard long-term disability that I see is it's going to be for a 2-year period, and one of the criteria is that you would need to also apply for your Social Security disability benefits, right?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Now, when your Social Security disability benefits approved, let's say your disability benefits get approved at month 6, right? They get approved quickly. And then you still have your long-term disability policy that will last for 2 years. Anybody know what happens?
It doesn't last a few years.
It shouldn't affect the income.
It's offset.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an offset.
Plus,
So-
there's
Why they
long-term
offset it?
disability that lasts way longer than 2 years. I had it, and they actually gave me a lump sum to finally buy me out. So there are policies that last for a lifetime.
Right. Actually, we had somebody that worked here that had a lifetime long-term disability policy and also collected Social Security disability. But
Oh,
most of these are for a 2-year period. And if you get approved for disability, um, and there is an offset. So let's say that you get approved for Social Security disability and that amount is $2,000 a month. And then you're also getting your long-term disability, which is $1,500 a month. When you're approved, you'll only get the difference. So you won't get the 2,000 plus the 1,500.
No, you
It's an
get
offset.
the 1,500 plus 500, right?
1,500 plus 500. Yeah, so you get the same amount. That's right, Eric. I said it backwards.
okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I have a question because I've seen some long-term disability that offset like $1 for every 2. And there's not like a maximum. For example, if they're getting $1,000 long-term and then they get $1,000 of Social Security, they'll reduce the long-term $1 for every $2 of Social Security. So there's not a maximum. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's what I had when I had mine.
I've seen that. Is that about the amount of money? That's what I think, but I can't remember what changes it, because it changes. You starts 2 for 1 and then it goes 1 to 1 for some reason, but I can't remember what the reason is.
Mhm.
Mine didn't, but it could be they don't have policies like that anymore. I don't know, but that's the one that I was familiar with.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with those. The ones that I hear about are the ones that I generally outlined here. So one of the questions too, when we're helping members, is to ask them, certainly if they have that, what the status of it is. And these companies they'll stop benefits. If somebody started their benefits, might send them forms to bring. I had this situation the other day, Diane. This is a call that I had you listen to. She had been approved for her short-term disability. They had sent her forms to bring to the doctor to sign to confirm that she was still in the same disabling or limiting situation, but she wasn't able to see the doctor anymore. And because it wasn't in network, she had to change her insurance and it would be a $200 copay. So she's like, I'm not going to go to the doctor and have him sign the forms. Well, she was getting paid $1,600 a month in her short-term disability, and she chose not to go pay a $200 copay to get her $1,600, right? So now we've got her, the thought process has been corrected, and she's like, oh, wow, I should have really not done that. So it's good to ask what the status is if they were denied. Even if they were denied like within 3 years, we can still oftentimes help them get those benefits back. So it's something to keep in mind. All right, let's move on to veterans. Let's talk about veterans benefits. Veterans benefits can come in 2 different flavors. Somebody can be using the VA as for their treatment, or somebody could be a career military employee. But most commonly, people are just going to the VA because they served and they're entitled to it. So how does that impact anybody going through the disability approval process? Does it have a negative impact? Positive impact?
I don't know.
Have a positive.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely positive.
Is there anything offset? No offset?
No.
Great.
And Melody, why would you say it's a positive?
Well, if they've been found to have a disability through VA, a lot of the work has been done as far as the medical records being gathered and somebody making a decision. Now, it doesn't mean that Social Security, in fact, they're not bound by VA's decision. And Brian knows this full well that it's not an automatic. But they're obviously getting medical care. There's been work done to determine their disability. And another agency has, even though Social Security is not bound by that decision, it carries some weight.
Right. But in addition to that, I will add that they have access to consistent treatment.
Yeah.
Which is the same value or similar value as short-term, long-term disability. So somebody is treated, going
Right.
through the process, and, you know, we can do that. By the way, it came to me. The other type of VA benefits are TRICARE. So if you're career military and when you retire, you're whoever worked for the military, and these are typically employees, or they could have been service related, and they went into work for the military. They come out with this benefit, which is fantastic, and the family is also entitled to it as well. It's my understanding, and definitely the spouse.
TRICARE for life.
TRICARE for life, right on. Yep.
And that's the medical.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the medical. Yep.
Yeah.
So the next one, I put it right in the middle because it's one that we've kicked around a bunch, is work comp, right? If somebody has a work comp related issue, how does it impact their disability payments, right? So just first, the short version on what a work comp situation is. Has anybody here had one? Maybe you can use an example. No? Good. You got hurt at work. Hurt your ankle, hurt your back, fell off a ladder, slipped on something, you got hurt. And so based on the severity of that is going to determine the value of your work comp case. It is a disability related case. Now, this one's tricky because there is an offset on how that will impact your disability or Social Security disability. So I just came down to this example on this SSA.gov PDF. It says if the total amount of these benefits exceeds 80% of your average current earnings, the excess amount is deducted from your Social Security benefit. And here they give an example. Before you became disabled, your average earnings were $4,000. You and your spouse are entitled to $2,200. And it goes down below and it says that because the total amount of your benefits you would receive is $4,200, which is more than 80%, which would be $3,200, then there's an offset. So for disability benefits, if somebody is receiving this monthly payment of their work comp, then it's a minor impact here on their disability benefits. But if they received a big lump sum of, let's say it's $30,000, then that $30,000 is going to be applied, based on my understanding, to their back benefits. So it could significantly reduce or eliminate back benefits. That's how the offset works. So for us or somebody to understand how much that's going to impact their Social Security disability benefits, back benefits, if it's a $5,000 work comp situation, then it's not much. Definitely if it's a $50,000 work comp situation, it's going to have a major impact on their back benefits. That's the best I can tell from that. But you can apply. You can apply for Social Security disability. You probably should, and go forward and get approved if you're not able to work. Any other comments on the work comp piece?
I think you should tell people what we do when there is a lump sum involvement with workers' comp. Like, we don't represent people. We try to.
No, we don't. because we haven't, we don't know a way around that, have not figured that out. So if somebody has a work comp case, then, we have them do it on their own, or, if we can refer them to somebody else. It's been on my to-do list to find a reliable source of information on that for quite some time, and I haven't. So.
The other thing, when you're talking to these individuals, it's important to tell them that any lump sum they get will affect their Social Security. So they want to make sure that their attorneys that are doing their workers' comp case are aware of that, because their lump sum can be written in such a way that it minimizes the effect.
Right.
In other words, if they take, say, a $30,000 settlement, but in the settlement it says it's expected that their medical care will be $20,000 out of that 30, that medical can be excluded from counting for Social Security, because it's not considered income to live on. It's considered for medical. But it's really important as to how that settlement is written.
Yeah. Let's move on to unemployment. Especially now, the time that we're doing this, unemployment has been like a red hot topic. Many people have been collecting it. That's why they're not working. Can they apply for disability if they're collecting unemployment?
Yeah,
I did.
I did too.
They can.
Yep, they can.
Now that you're talking, it's maybe because when I went for my first meeting, with the Social Security, and they have everything on the computer, and I was saying I'm collecting unemployment, and I'm getting something from New York City as well, which I wasn't supposed to be doing. I was kind of double dipping, but but they didn't. I thought I was in trouble. I was like, oh, here we go. But they didn't mind that. And now that you all are talking, I realize they didn't care because they could take it out of the money they were going to give me.
And did they?
I didn't count it like that much. I wasn't. I didn't know a lot about what I was going to get. And then they sent me $15,000, and I was like, thank you very much. Carried on,
Yeah.
But so I never figured it, and I didn't know. I wouldn't have known how to figure it either. But they didn't take any months. They had my disability date was the date that I applied, June 10th. Yeah, so I guess not.
I would say no, and you still would have access to your award letter, and there's a summary of payments on one of the pages that would break it down if it was deducted.
Yeah. Mine wasn't deducted.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting argument, because you are saying that you're looking for work when you're seeking unemployment. And when you apply for disability, you're saying I can't work.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That catch-22 is always there. That catch-22 is always there. So yeah.
And it will almost certainly come up in a hearing if the judge sees that. They will. That's where the problem comes in more than the offset, is that you're claiming that you're available for work when you're collecting unemployment. Now you're telling me you can't work. So the advocate or attorney has to be sure to address that.
Yep.
And what is that solution? What do they say, or what do you say?
Brian,
Well,
you want to take that?
Many that have gone through this said, yeah, I'm collecting unemployment. I'm looking for a job that I can do. But I'm just not able to find a job that I can do.
All right, good answer.
Right. Okay.
So is unemployment offset?
Well, I don't know of anybody that's had it taken back, offset. I don't.
Okay.
Work comp, definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
But unemployment, no. And the next one, state disability. California, New York, there's a few others that are left. Does this have any impact on applying for Social Security disability benefits?
Again, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I concur. Right. It's I would liken it to the first topic that we covered, short-term disability, where you're on that. So I'm gonna say no to that. And then,
Is that SSI?
well, no, state disability would be like in California, there's state disability in New York if you can't work, right?
Pay
They pay you?
taxes. You pay taxes. There's a tax that's taken out of your check.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You
Mhm.
can get it. I mean, there's no requirement for any length of time. It's
So
like,
that's when you get 50%. And okay.
and you get like, let's say
No.
you got COVID or you got something that just makes it so you can't work for a little while,
Mhm.
you get it.
Mhm.
It's not a long term. You run out. You can run out of it.
Exactly. In California, there's a fixed amount. I don't know how that's determined, but maybe on the amount of tax you pay. But it does run out.
Right. So
Okay.
that kicks in after your short-term disability, I think, right? Is that correct? You have short-term disability, and when that runs out, then the state will kick in for a little bit, but it's a set amount. That it is a set amount in New York. I remember that part now.
Eric, I don't know. I don't know the start stop specific criteria.
Okay.
I
On it.
think in California, there's no ops relationship
Mhm.
with the short term. That's just an insurance policy that happens to be paid. And by the way, you can get short and long-term disability on your own. You can buy a policy. You don't have to get it through work.
So the last one on this list is SSI. Is there any disadvantage of having SSI through the process, of going through the disability approval process?
I would say no.
I agree. No, you're allowed to get your treatment, which
Yes,
is key. Same
exactly.
as short-term disability, veterans,
Mhm.
state disability. So it allows you to get your treatment. In some cases, you could get some cash if you qualify. So that
Yep.
certainly helps. It's Brian Terry, and I hope you enjoyed the video. For more information from the Disability Digest, we invite you to join us as a member if you're not already. Membership is free, like a radio or TV station where we have ads and sponsors that allow us to provide a free membership with customized information to help you get and or maximize your disability benefits. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, we encourage you to subscribe and hit the bell so that you'll know when new videos come up. And of course, if you know somebody else that would benefit from this information, give it a share. It makes the world go round. Thanks for tuning in. Make it a great day.